Hello guys and welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. My name is James and today we're going to go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about the latest news in regards to Reading Football Club. Now unfortunately the news I'm reporting on today isn't any takeover or transfer news just yet, but it does relate to contracts at Reading Football Club. That's right, Reading announced their retained/released list for the 2023-2024 season today. Obviously players that are coming up to the end of their contract are set to either be renewed, have triggers extended in their contract or set to be released. Now no faffing around, we're going to go straight into it and talk about some of the players that are going to be staying in blue and white hoops come next season. And one of them players that had a 1-year trigger extension in his contract was Femi Azeez. Now that's been the real talking point over the summer, is whether or not we're going to be able to tie down Femi Azeez to another deal, and it looks like we don't have to worry about that just yet, as we've triggered a 1-year extension clause in his contract. Femi Azeez played 46 games for Reading this season and had 8 goals and 9 assists. Now something that I want to pick up on there is the 46 appearances made in the league by Azeez. Now something that a couple of years ago I spoke about in a video when Azeez was coming up for his last contract was whether or not we should give him a new contract because of how injury prone Azeez is. Well, this season, obviously, Azeez has proved that he's able to stay fit. And maybe, you know, he's got a little bit older, his bones have got a little bit stronger, and Azeez is now able to be a fully fledged football player. So that was something that I was a little bit worried about going into his last contract. Listen, I think Azeez has blossomed into one of the better wingers in the league. I wouldn't say he's in that elite category with Mason Clark and with players like Kwame Poku and things like that just yet. But I would say that Azeez is just a step below that. And I'd say he's one of the better players in the league. Listen, another year under the tutelage of Ruben Celis might see Femi Azeez become one of the best wingers in League One. Now, another one of them players that has had a 1-year contract extension trigger happen is Michael Craig. Now, he played 28 games for Reading this season, and this one was a little bit surprised because I was a little bit worried that Craig was going to end up leaving. There was rumours a couple of days ago about whether Portsmouth were looking at trying to pick him up. Listen, if they are looking to pick him up, they're now going to have to pay a fee for him in this summer transfer window. But look, Michael Craig, it looks like he's going to be staying. He feels like he's fell behind the pecking order behind Ben Elliott and Charlie Savage at the moment, but Michael Craig offers something that them two players don't, and that's defensive stability. And something Reading have lacked this season really has been defensive stability. I feel like we've conceded a lot of goals. I think it was the 3rd most in the league we conceded this year. And when Michael Craig played, I feel like there was a lot more stability in the defensive line compared to when he wasn't there. Look, going forward, we've been an absolutely fantastic side. Michael Craig maybe isn't the best at doing that. Maybe the forward ball isn't something that he's the best at, but defensively, he's probably Reading's best option when it comes to the midfield, and I'm happy to see him stay for another year. Another one of them players that will be around for another year as well is Jerel Dorset. 23 appearances for Dorset this year. He picked up 1 goal and 2 assists himself. Saw him transition really from a centre-back out to a left-back, and I think he's been one of the more important players for Reading this season. There was a trend when Jerel Dorset plays, Reading tend to concede a lot less goals, and you know, if Jerel Dorset continues to stay at Reading, again, I think he could be another one of them players that can blossom into one of the better players in the league. I think he's really solid at the left-back position. He's got power, he's got pace. He's someone that can also put a really good low crossing, and he's someone that defensively players struggle to get by. So I'm very happy to see Jerel Dorset continue to play in blue and white. The next player is Kelvin Bachman, and once again a 1-year trigger has been extended on him. 40 appearances for Bachman in his proper full first season of men's football. 5 goals this year for him as well. Saw him transition from a striker really out to a left winger. Bachman's been playing a lot on the wing, and he saw a lot of improvement in his performances. Again, I'm really happy to see Bachman stay at Reading, as I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think he's someone that would be really handy for Reading. Again, just another good option to have around. The next player with the 1-year extension is Joel Pereira. 9 appearances for Pereira, for El Gato should I say, this year, and he picked up 3 clean sheets in that time. Pereira ended as Reading's #1 goalkeeper for the season. David Button fell with an illness before the Derby game and never was able to really get his place back. Pereira continued to play in goal after that and really proved that he was a solid #1. Something that has really followed Joel Pereira around with his career is he doesn't really stick at a team and he can't really hold down a spot on a side. But listen, Joel Pereira was really good at the end of last season for Reading, and I think hopefully we'll see him transition into that #1 position for Reading come the summer, and hopefully at the start of this season. As I think he's earned it, and it feels like he's really got a place at home at Reading. You see the end of the season celebrations at Purple Turtle, and you see how much it meant to him really to have fans want him to stay. I think it's really important for the confidence of a goalkeeper as well, and to have Joel Pereira around, I think he's a really solid hand, and yeah, I'm happy to see him extend his stay at Reading. The The next one is Jaden Wham. He made 7 appearances off the bench for Reading this year. He was more of an under-21s player. He played a lot of games for Noel Hunt's side, and he did quite well. Scored quite a lot of goals for the under-21s, so I'm glad to see Wham as well continue his stint in RG2. I think he's a very good addition to keep around. Obviously only a 1-year extension on his contract. Be interesting to see what happens as well with some of the under-21s contracts. That's not been announced just yet for some of the under-21s players like Charlie Wellens, who obviously only signed a 1-year deal, John Ryan, Adrian Akande. I'm really looking forward to seeing if they're going to be staying at Reading. So I think they will be players that have big futures in RG2. But yeah, look, Wareham's staying, and I'm happy to see him sign for another year. Some of the players as well that got offered brand new contracts, so not triggered extensions, but they're in negotiations currently with Reading, is Kelvin Bachman and Tavonge Rashisha. The Rashisha one I'm a little bit surprised about, as I didn't really see him staying at Reading. He hasn't made too much of an impact in the under-21s, and not a massive impact as well in the first team. But Rashisha's someone obviously that Ruben Selles likes. He was on trial at Reading for a very long time in the summer, and ended up getting obviously the permanent deal. And then Bachman as well is someone that, look, he's made appearances towards the end of the season, and potentially could be starting to take over that Andy Yeardon role, or maybe transition into that left back role, which you know he can play. He can play either side, so potentially might see a Bachman in the first team options a lot more next year. So it's not just people that have stayed, but people are leaving Reading as well. Reading have ended up releasing 4 players in this off-season. Matty Carson is the first of them. Someone that ended up playing a lot of games at the start of the season, but kind of fell out of the first team side in the second half of the season. Look, defensively he was a little bit shaky, but going forward, Matty Carson had some quality. His balls into the box and his set pieces was something where Matty Carson shined, but defensively he really let himself down, and obviously his set pieces and stuff like that. He was someone that I would have liked to have seen really in a left wing back role where he's got that protection from the defence, but look, unfortunately it wasn't meant to be for Matty Carson. Another left-sided player has ended up leaving as well. That's Nesta Guinness-Walker, someone that after that game against Port Vale, they all had a big falling out with Ruben Selles and never really got back into the side. He was one of them with Andy Carroll, Tom Holmes, people like that. But look, Nesta Guinness-Walker ended up spending the second half of the season on loan at Stevenage. He's ended up leaving the club, though, being released. Sam Hutchinson has ended up going as well. He hasn't really been involved in a matchday squad since the Shrewsbury incident, where he had an interview absolutely ripping the young players. Kind of lit a fire under Reading there. Our form massively turned round. Sam Hutchinson never was in a matchday squad again, and Reading ended up surviving and playing much better football. So, no, I liked Hutchinson, but maybe that was the wrong move for him to go ahead and do that. But Hutchinson's gone. I'm not going to miss him too much, if I'm completely honest. And the last one is Clinton Mola. That was a little bit of a surprise. I think Mola had a decent end to the season. He was definitely one of Reading's most improved players throughout the year. He improved massively, especially from the start of the season up until the end. 30 appearances for him throughout the campaign, but that's going to be the end of the time for Clinton Mola in a Reading shirt. So yeah, that's going to be the end of that one. Look, if I'm honest, I'm not really going to miss the 4 players massively too much. I think there's a lack of depth now at left back. I think at the moment you've just got Jerel Dorset and John Ryan that can cover that left back role. But really, are we going to miss the players that have been gone? Not too much, if I'm completely honest. Now, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been James, and we'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.